Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome back. It's me again, and it's finished Liverpool 4, Wolverhampton Wanderers nil in this, well, initially intriguing clash in the Premier League, but ultimately it was a pretty easy routine win for Liverpool, and they were helped along with some good performances from their players, but also a really shocking performance from Conor Coady. And if you've seen my tweets, you'll see that I've been pretty critical of Conor Coady. And then, of course, there was a correct VAR call as well that went in their favor when Coady pretty much blatantly tried to dive and win a penalty and was called out on it. Incredibly, I don't think he got a yellow card for it, which is surprising. He should have got a yellow card for it. But yeah, it was a pretty poor performance overall defensively from Wolves, which is kind of surprising. You don't expect that. But a good performance from Liverpool on a night when they probably would have needed that and just cruise through the game. And it was interesting. It was quite a few talking points. It's one of those games when you tweet a lot, and I was tweeting a lot. I was thinking a lot of things as I was watching that game, and you realize it's one of those games where you don't really have anything to say other than the fact of how good Liverpool are, because that's what it is. Liverpool are just a machine, relentless, and they really win easy. And I was trying to think about, I was racking my brain as to what I'm going to talk about, because there's nothing new in what Liverpool did. There was nothing, there's nothing out of the ordinary. You kind of got what you expect from Liverpool, and it was a good display, and it was a good performance, a much needed performance for Liverpool as well, just for themselves to feel like, you know what, we're there, we're back to the level that we want to be at. So I think once that first goal went in, and that first goal was important. Again, Conor Coady making a complete mess of what should have been a simple clearing header. He tried to be clever and tried to control it on his chest, and then miscontrolled it completely, and it's there for Mo Salah to score. And it was funny, the commentators were like, "This, Cody's a boyhood Liverpool fan," and I was like, "Well, what's the reason for saying that? Why would you even want to say that? Is someone trying to imply something? I don't think that was the intention, but." I'm not sure. I'm not sure why Conor Coady had such a bad performance today. Normally he's pretty reliable, but he was even at fault for the second goal that Wijnaldum scored. He was backing off too much. On the corner, I think Matip scored a header, and you can't really blame Coady for that. But the fact is that as a defender, you got to take responsibility for marking, those corners. But probably not his fault by being too harsh. And the fourth goal that Trent Alexander-Arnold scored was pretty nice. But yeah, but that first goal, once that first goal went in, it was pretty obvious. I don't think Liverpool Wolves had a way back in the game. They were pretty good up to that point. And again, a lot of people will say, well, Wolves were in the game until that first goal. What they were in the game for is the fact that they had a very dynamic front three, which is really pacey, really well gelled. But the problem was, without Jimenez in the side, they had no focal point. They had no obvious goal scoring outlet. And so, you can go as much as you want to the byline. You can put as many crosses as you want. If you don't have someone to finish them off, if you don't have someone who's on the end of those crosses, then there's no point. And because they had no height, because Traore, Podence, and Neto are not very tall players, they're more skillful, pacey wingers, so to speak, or skillful, pacey players. They don't have that aerial ability. So any cross that was going on, anytime they were going to the byline, the overhead cross wasn't really an option, because Matip and Fabinho could just swat them away. And obviously playing through was they had to more or less just play like 2 feet, and at some point it gets predictable, and obviously Liverpool had that well scouted, so they missed Jimenez today. I think the 4-3-3 that it was pretty much similar to how they played against Arsenal, the 4-3-3. The only difference being that Jimenez came in and never started instead of Jimenez. But the problem was Arsenal are pretty poor offensively, for lack of a better word. I don't want to be too harsh and say the other words, but they're pretty poor offensively. So it's fine, because they're blunt at the back. It's okay, and because they don't have a lot of pace in that middle area. It's fine to play that way, to be more expansive, because even if you give up chances, there's a good chance Arsenal won't take them. Liverpool, you can't afford to give that many chances to. You can't afford to play that expansive football. And they tried to play it. It worked for a while, but without a focal point, they weren't going to score a goal. And as soon as Liverpool scored, it pretty much looked like game over. Even though Wolves had a shout for a penalty, which wasn't a penalty. I really don't think they created much aside from that. There were a few chances that Keller has saved, which were fairly routine saves. I don't think Kelleher was, aside from that first save that he made off of Perens, the ball that was looping the back post. I think that was a good save. It might have been going out. This was called as a shot on target, but I thought it might have been going out or hitting the post. But anyway, that was a good save. But aside from that, I really don't think Wolves created. I can't remember Wolves creating any real chances. Or there was the other one that Coady getting a nice little chance where again he chested it and tried to go for a second touch and then was bundled off. Whereas you go first time and you try to head it and see where that lands. And I don't know what was going on with Coady today. Maybe being a Liverpool fan had him sort of distracted. It can happen when you're a fan of a club and you're playing against them. You can be distracted. You're not saying that you're throwing the game away or that it doesn't happen intentionally, but just unintentionally you might not be as focused as you normally are. So maybe that happened today. I don't know the answer, but he was on the wrong end of a lot of big moments today, and it's not great. It's not a good look for him and for any player for that matter. So but aside from those half chances, you could say there wasn't really much that they created throughout the game. And by the way, after that chance that Coady missed was again the second goal came almost right after that. So yeah, it was poor, but as far as Liverpool are concerned, I think one of the things that I tweeted this is that and I've been saying this for a while. Injuries and VAR are the only two things that are going to stop Liverpool winning the title this season. And now the injury list has eased a little bit. Keita's back. Trent Alexander-Arnold is back. Thiago's going to be back soon. So they're having players back. And even with the injuries, Virgil van Dijk being injured hasn't made a dent. They haven't lost a game in the league since he's been injured. The only game that they lost was against Atalanta in the Champions League, which was a game where they rested most of the players. So they haven't felt his absence much. Alisson, for a goalkeeper, he's quite injury prone. But now with Kelleher in the side, it doesn't look like they're going to miss him much either. So where are the obvious weaknesses that you're trying to figure out in this team? There aren't any. I'm trying to act maybe Neco Williams at right back, but now Trent Alexander-Arnold is back. So again, they don't have a weakness there. They don't have any obvious weaknesses in that side now. And even with injuries, they don't seem to have them. So I don't know. I don't know where exactly your teams go from here, because they'll have off days, like all teams and all players will have off days, but over a consistent 38 games, now there's about 27 games, so 26 games left. 27 games left. Where do you see an obvious weakness that can be exploited week in, week out? I really don't see it. And so I a lot of people will say Spurs and Chelsea are a good run of form, but I just don't see where Liverpool can be got at by teams on a regular, consistent basis. I don't see it. But aside from that, so Alisson's injury is out, Kelleher, so the injury list is easing. And I said this because now VAR is also getting on their side, because they got a positive VAR call today. I know Liverpool fans hate VAR. I know Klopp hates VAR, but his team benefited from it today. And that incident actually is how VAR is meant to be used, right? That's what you want to see. It was a clear and obvious dive from Coady, and it was caught and it was overturned. And that's what you want to use VAR for. And when it's used correctly, VAR is a very important tool. The problem is it's not being used correctly, and that's why I've always said that I like the idea in theory. I like the way it's the idea in concept. The problem is the execution, because ultimately it's humans who are executing it, and humans, we know how to bundle things up even when they are quite obvious, because we have an innate ability to botch things spectacularly when things shouldn't be botched. So that's what the issue is right now. And once those are fixed, but ultimately teams will see the benefit of that in those kind of calls. So VAR got that one right, and that was a win for VAR, and it was a win for Liverpool on that front. So now even VAR is on their side. So what's really left? Who's really going to stop them? Maybe Spurs? I don't know. Maybe Chelsea? We'll see. We'll see what happens. But overall, I think there's no standout player. Again, I've noticed this quite a lot with Liverpool. They're never standout players. I don't think you could name a player that stood out today that much. I'm sure some people will talk about certain players having monster games and great games, but to me, nobody really stood out in the team. Nobody really was like exceptionally good. Like you looked at him and thought, oh my God, what's this guy doing playing, at this level? How is he playing at this level? There wasn't. It was a team, because it was a collective team performance. And they exploited Wolves' weaknesses very well. I think Wolves disintegrated after that second goal that went in. I think they were pretty much deflated. And once that goal went in, I think overall, you wouldn't be able to pick out a standout player, and that's a good thing, because that means everybody's on this performing as a collective, as a team. and that's kind of what you want. It's good to have certain players stand, producing the odd individual magic here and there, but overall, if you have a whole team that's performing at the same level, at a very very high level altogether, then that I think is much much more much more needed, or much more satisfying for the manager to have. So that was I think that was my takeaway. I think I was thoroughly impressed watching Liverpool win this game, and the way they did it, the manner in which they did it was great. But I do feel that there are issues for Wolves to sort out, and I think one of those would be how they manage games, and they'll have to look at a horses for courses approach, because today, going with that approach of trying to take the game to Liverpool, it wasn't, without Jimenez, it wasn't going to work. If they had Jimenez, maybe things might have been different. Maybe he might have got on the end of a couple of chances. Maybe he would have provided the focal point. But without him, it was always going to be a gamble trying to go so attacking on Liverpool, because they could just pick them off at any time, which is what they did in that second half. Um, yeah, I think that's it. Then I think 4-0 for Liverpool, and they also were able to crawl up on that goal difference a little bit, which is definitely very very good for them. And Yeah, I mean, we are now 2 weeks away from seeing Liverpool against, well, not well, a week and a half actually, not 2 weeks, but a week and a half away from Liverpool against Spurs. That could be an early title decider. I think it's shaping up more and more to be a must-win game for Aston Villa. But I just want to make this point as well. For all the talk of Liverpool looking shaky or whatever, they just lost one game this season. They've lost one game this season, 7-2 to Villa. A lot of people were like, myself included, we were all very excited when Aston Villa beat Liverpool. We thought finally Liverpool look human again. But that's been their only defeat so far this season. So they've got a couple of draws that they probably would have wanted to win. But you just look at them and you think, well, they've got things covered. They may not be the Liverpool of last season, but still good enough to probably go on and win the league fairly comfortably. But that's just me. But we'll see how it goes. But let's smash a like if you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the game as well, and what do you think about Liverpool's chances this season and Wolves' ambitions for this season as well. Let me know what you think. Please remember to subscribe to this channel if you're new. Want to try to get to 130 subscribers as soon as possible. So please try and support us with that, and we'll continue to produce more of these kind of videos, more football related content. We do have a few things in the pipeline for you coming up very soon, so please stay tuned to our social media channels. We're going to announce a few things that will happen. And also, there's as you might have, well, I told I actually put this on this video that I have got a FIFA 21. I just bought it a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and I want to see if I can play that, and we can do a FIFA 21 session on this channel as well. So let me know what you think of that. If you're watching this as well. But have a good day or night, whatever time you're watching this. Congratulations to all Liverpool fans on the win over Wolves, and you've got pretty much a week off now. The Midtjylland game coming up, that's pretty much a gimme and meaningless and inconsequential anyway. We'll see what happens next week when Liverpool are back in action. But based on what's going on, it's looking more and more like it's going to be. I mean, I don't know. It's looking more and more like it's going to be Liverpool season again. But we shall see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day or night, and take care. And see you again very very soon. Take care. Bye bye.